Are you a brand new Town Hall 11 or a max Town Hall 10 looking for the best way to upgrade Town Hall 11 in 2020? Well, this video has got you covered. We're going to be going over a plethora of different things from your first few upgrades all the way into the laboratory. So let's go ahead and show you guys exactly what you need to upgrade at Town Hall 11. So the first section here is we're going to just talk very briefly on two things. The Gold Pass and also on the 6 builder. Both of these make upgrading really easy. So in terms of this, what are you going to do with these two? So on the screen, you're going to see some information about each of the two. Of course, with the Gold Pass, you're getting a lot of good value. You're getting resources from the free, but then you're also getting stuff like potions, books. You're getting those boosts, which could really help for only $5, and you're going to get those skins as well. So I think what it comes down to is, do you really want to spend a very minuscule amount of money in the game, or would you rather not do that? You can still do the free and still do get a lot of value. You get, sometimes they might be generous and put in some gems in there, but usually you're going to get resources, potions, and one book, which is not bad. Of course, they're giving you a resource potion, or I'm sorry, they're giving you a book of heroes, which is always going to be very helpful. But I think at the same time, the Gold Pass is also worth it. On the other hand, the other very important one is actually going to be getting the 6 builder. Now, of course, not everyone is going to be able to get that 6 builder. Some people don't even play builder base. I played it. I got up to builder hall 9. I got everything maxed. Well, not everything, but the things are required. So on the screen, you'll see the exact things that you need to sort of upgrade in order to get those all good and ready. So of course, you need 3 gear ups, and I did those 3. The 3 gear ups are going to be the cannon, archer tower, and mortars. Then the next thing is getting your level 18 cannon carts in builder base. You also want to get a level 9 Mega Tesla, and you also want to get your battle machine to level 30. That's a lot of stuff for just a 6 builder, but that gives you access to being able to have a continuous builder still there, which means you can still have maybe half of your builders working and half not, or you could have more, like 5 of your builders building and at least 1 builder for walls. That's what you guys can really do now with that. But just going to give you guys a little bit of some suggestions to help you guys improve and in order to get a little bit quicker in your upgrades. But let's go and jump into the first couple upgrades you're going to be doing. So what you're going to see on screen is everything that you're going to be getting new that you can build here at Town Hall 11. So you'll see that we have a cannon, archer tower, wizard tower, expo, grand warden, eagle, and 25 wall pieces. So the thing here is that you want to make sure that we are still getting some sort of value when we're actually upgrading our town hall. So for one, we want to make sure that what we're doing is being able to upgrade our town hall efficiently. So as far as I would say, you want to make sure that you are upgrading each one of these at least to max town hall 11 level or town hall 10 level before you actually move on to upgrading everything else. So of course, the max level for each of these are going to be as followed. So you're going to be getting this one upgraded to around level 15. And you're also going to be doing the same thing with the archer tower. The wizard tower gets a bonus up to level 10. This one can go up to level 5. The eagle can go up to level 2. And the grand warden can go up to a max level of level 20. You can also get the tornado trap that is going to get you up to around level 2. So you'll get like a few seconds of sort of that tornado effect. And you're also going to be able to upgrade your walls now to a level 12. So that's pretty cool to say the least. Now, of course, there are a couple other things that we want to make sure that we are doing as well. For one, we want to know what each of these upgrade orders are and stuff like that. Now, in terms of heroes and walls, they're nothing too much to deal with. But, of course, we're going to do those over time. In terms of the other defenses, however, we want to make sure, though, that what we're doing with those is going to be upgrading them in an orderly fashion. But before we actually jump into that, we're going to be first talking about the Grand Warden and the new Electro Dragon that you get at Town Hall 11. So we're going to show you guys how you guys can use the Grand Warden, Electro Dragon, and Ice Golem within this one section. You'll see that we have each of these units within this example. So I want to show you guys how to use each of these definitely in a little bit of a broad sense, but we're going to show you guys exactly what they do. So first of all, we want to show you guys the Electro Dragon. The Electro Dragon has a chain effect, meaning that anything directly diagonal to it, like you saw right here, that is what it's going to be able to target. It can target up to 5 buildings if like they're either touching or if there is a 1 tile gap. So a good example of this is actually going to be something such as, you know, these like sections here. Basically they work diagonally as well. Anything touching as well is going to work just as well. So this is a good example of a single. The only area that this will not affect is going to be these double areas, meaning that you won't be able to sort of ping it off of there, so it's a little too far for the chain to work. Now what we're going to do is we're still going to fly through this, and we want to make sure that what we're doing for you guys is teaching you guys the Ice Golem, the Grand Warden. So you can see with the Electro Dragons is they're used to create a funnel in this attack. So as we're sending everything in, we have the Grand Warden, and you'll notice a couple things. The Grand Warden has his aura around him. This is a life aura. This is going to add a few extra hit points onto any troop or, you know, any unit within that sphere. Meaning that what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to see the exact thing that you're going to be, you know, primarily trying to look for. And not just that, but what you're also going to be able to do with that is pop his ability. You'll notice these glowing loons right here. Well, those are under his eternal tome, which means that this is going to make them invincible for a short period of time. This is going to allow you to get some extra value that you may not have ever realized that you could get. But that gives you guys a very solid look into those two. Now, what about the Ice Golem? Well, the Ice Golem is actually a tank. Very, very similar to the regular golem. However, if we zoom or if we fast forward, you'll notice that when it dies, it drops a freeze. And that is going to be the biggest thing that you want to understand with the Ice Golem. What makes it different from a regular golem is that it doesn't split. It actually will die into a freeze. So you get a free freeze from this. So let's go ahead and show you guys the offensive upgrades that we have. So now that you've seen exactly how you guys can use the Grand Warden and the new Electro Dragon, well, we're going to be moving on to our offensive upgrade order. This is going to be primarily talking about the buildings before we actually move on to the laboratory, which will be later on. Now, in terms of the everything that's going to be upgraded for offense, of course, one of the biggest things is going to be upgrading your heroes very regularly. So I put these off to the side as these are going to be things that you're going to be constantly doing. It's not just a one-time thing. You're going to be doing this constantly, meaning that you will be using Dark Elixir for your King and Queen and also using Elixir for your Grand Warden. So that way you guys kind of get that understanding. Just remember that the Grand Warden does have 20 levels once you, well, I guess way before you actually unlock him, and it does take 19 levels to finish him off from level 1 to level 20. Now, the first thing that you should actually be trying to clear out or to do is going to be first off your CC, your Clan Castle. This is going to allow you to hold 1 extra spell slot, which means you'll now be able to hold 2 slots of spells, which is really, really good, and it's definitely worth upgrading it to get that. Now, on top of that, the next thing you're going to be moving on to is going to be the laboratory. Yeah, it may take a couple days to complete, but you should still be able to get that done and be able to work your way to that building. Then after this, you're going to be working on your gold and elixir storages, because what you want to actually be able to do is for the gold, the defensive stuff, and also stuff like that. But also with the elixir is that you're going to need elixir for your army camps, which is actually going to be what's next. Then you have the option to either do your barracks or your dark barracks. The main reason I point this out is because you are going to get the Electro Dragons in the regular Elixir barrack, and you're going to get the Ice Golem in the Dark Elixir barrack. It's definitely worth getting the Ice Golem as it is a brand new Dark Elixir troop, and the best part about it is that you're going to be able to sort of have that death freeze. Like you saw in the last sort of section where I talked about the 3 new things, the Grand Warden, the Electro Dragon, and the Ice Golem, kind of just going over those couple things. So this is going to be really up to you and your personal experience with each of these, or, well, I guess really not personal experience, but my personal experience with them. But definitely, this is sort of my upgrade list. Give or take, you could do your laboratory first. You can use a hammer or something like that. I cannot forget SCWL, as that is going to be a really good way to upgrade as well. I didn't really mention that at the beginning of the video, but I really wanted to try to make sure that it was a little bit more justified. So feel free to probably try to use those hammers, take advantage of those magic items, because they're going to help you a lot down the road. So let's go ahead and move on to our defensive upgrade order before we get into our lab. So here is your defensive order. The first one that we've got is going to be the air defenses and Teslas. Now, why do I say these two? Well, the air defenses are definitely going to be very, very good in order to stop things such as dragons and Lalo and also Electro Dragons. So those are just a couple of things to keep in mind. The other thing to sort of consider is the fact that, they are not going to add as much, they're not going to add as much war weight as other buildings down the line. I usually like to do these two first. They're very simple to get rid of, and you don't really need to rely on them as much as you're going through different ones. Though I will give you one tip. Make sure that you're not upgrading these all at once, because then you're going to kind of see where you won't be able to defend against air, especially while you're farming up your base. It's going to be really difficult to defend. So make sure that you're doing at least one at a time, and then maybe if you can use a book of building, it's worth it. Definitely use it. Now, the next thing that you're going to be upgrading after these two is going to be moving on to these two structures, the cannon and the archer tower. Now, I would say that this is a good moment here in order to, start upgrading them. There are a lot of these. So make sure, though, that you have 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 builders, 4 builders on each of those in order to upgrade them. Now, this is where you can actually upgrade your Inferno to level 4. This way, now what you've got is you can upgrade your Inferno, which will be a little bit stronger than a level 3, and you're already going to be able to upgrade your cannons and your archer towers up to that next level. Now, remember that they have 2 upgrades. Both the Infernos and cannons and archer towers have 2 upgrades, but the Infernos are going to be separated, because what we really want to do is we want to make sure that we are doing the best possible upgrade. Now, you can also do your Eagle after this point, or even in between, because the Eagle actually doesn't offer as much war weight as Infernos do. So I've seen a base design where someone had max Inferno, or didn't have max Infernos, but they actually had a max Eagle, and they were lower weight than me. So that's just something to consider. That's what I saw. So definitely that is just something that I would say be very cautious of. Now, but of course, make sure that you're doing that Inferno in between the 2 upgrades, just so that then once you get the cannons up to level 13 or 14, then you can upgrade your mortar, or I'm sorry, not your mortar, your Inferno tower. Then what you're going to be able to do is, after those 2 are level 14, then you can move on to level 15, and you'll be maxed for cannons and archer towers. Now, the next thing that you're going to be doing is going to be onto the wizard tower and the air sweeper. Air sweeper becomes maxed here, so it's definitely something that is worth getting upgraded. Now, of course, unlike anything else, you may see it as unvaluable. However, it is a good way to stop and sort of mitigate those air attacks, and also maybe even queen charges or queen walks. Now, the wizard towers, because you have 5 of them, you want to make sure that you are upgrading them in sort of a timely manner in some sort of way. Make sure that you're not upgrading them all at the same time, because you really want to make sure that you are being able to stop bats in your home village, but getting them a little bit stronger is always going to be a very, very big thing to do. Of course, they are still going to be really useful in countering Lalo, so that's the reason why I put them in a 3rd section. Now, the last section, and this is going to be up to you, would you like to upgrade your cannons, or I'm sorry, your eagle and your expos at the same time, or do you want to do just your expos? Usually this means that you're going to do your eagle a little bit earlier on, but the main reason I put them here is because those are going to be your big powerhouse defenses. Getting them expos upgrade to level 5 is always going to be a huge plus because they do a lot of damage. This also means that you can now upgrade your Inferno to the max level of level 5. This way, what you're going to be able to do, they get a lot stronger, and you should be able to defend a little bit easier with these defenses now maxed. The last two defenses are really nothing sort of to really worry about. It's the bomb tower and the mortar. The bomb tower really just hasn't seen as much usage, and it really just isn't a good defense to sort of, rely on. It's kind of like a cannon and an archer tower, but I would say it's worse because you only get 2 of them. So that means that it's really not worth upgrading first or third or whatever. It does definitely deserve the last area because it's not really something to deal with. It's the same with the mortar. The mortar is just as useless, and it really doesn't offer anything except for maybe, its health or something like that. But other than that, very, very simple way to sort of upgrade your defenses. But now we're going to move on to our laboratory guide to show you guys the right way to upgrade in the lab. So we're going to be moving into our Town Hall 11 upgrade order for the laboratory. Now, there is no right or wrong way to do this, and we're going to be splitting it up into 2 different sections. The Elixir stuff and the Dark Elixir stuff. That way you guys can get a very simple way of what's important for each of those 2 different resources. Now, the first thing we're going to be talking about is Elixir. Now, all of these are going to be based off of preference. So you'll see right over here to the side, you'll notice the sort of upgrade order that I put for the most important troops and spells. You may notice that there is only 1 spell in here, which really means that there's really only 1 important spell to upgrade at the Elixir level. Since there are only 2 Elixir spells that you can upgrade at Town Hall 11, being the Clone and the Freeze. Freeze is usually hands down one of the best to upgrade. Now, not just that, but if we take a look at troops, we can see that we have the Miner as number 1. The Miner is an extremely important upgrade because you can actually use this right now in war and in farming, and you can get a lot of good Dark Elixir and maybe even other loot from your in multiplayer, and you can still wreck bases in war. Now, the next one is going to be the Dragon. And the only reason I put the dragon in here, at least this early, is because dragons right now are really good. Queen charge dragons and even just a drag bat is really good. The next one I have is the Electro Dragon, and what's really nice about the Electro Dragon is that it is basically a really good funneling troop, and it's a good farming troop. So other than that, if you guys like Electro Dragons, you can either swap the dragon or the Electro Dragon. Feel free, choose what you want to do with that. Now, the next one that we have is the balloon. That is what you're going to need in order to sort of use a drag bat successfully or an mass electro dragon attack. So just keep that in mind. The next one I have is, the next 3 is giant, barbarians, and archers. These 3 are really good for farming if you're just looking for dead bases and collecting resources from the collectors. That's a really, really good way. So I put those 3 as really important. Everything else I did not mention for the Elixir level, you can upgrade within any time. I would say that these are really important if you guys are choosing to farm and war at the same time. I would definitely say that the first 4 are definitely a must, especially for farming and war. Then the other 3 you may want to throw in sometimes, maybe even throw in a baby dragon or something like that. But now let's go ahead and move on to the Dark Elixir upgrade order. Now, moving on to our Dark Elixir upgrades, we're going to primarily first start with the Lava Hound. The Lava Hound is such a great unit in order to make sure that we are able to, have more tankage with our balloons. So making sure that that Lava Hound is tanking a little bit more is going to be the key to really success with any Lalo attack. And even when you're farming, it's a really, really good way of using it. Now, the next one I have here for you guys is actually going to be the Minion. If you guys really like to use Lavalunion, then I would say go with that next. Other than that, maybe actually go in with the Bowler. The Bowler's such a great unit right now, especially with P.E.K.K.A. Smash and P.E.K.K.A. Boba attacks. I would say they're totally worth upgrading right now. The next one, as far as I would say after this, is actually going to be your Hog Rider. Hog Riders are really, really good right now at Town Hall 11, and I would say that they are really, really good with miners. So I would say upgrading your hogs is not a bad option. There's multiple strategies that you can use with Hog Riders, which can really become very effective. Now, after this, you may want to actually focus in onto your Valkyries. Valkyries are less common nowadays, but they are still somewhat good. So I would say maybe throw them in there in your upgrade just so that then they can do some more damage and have a little bit more health. After this, I would go with the Ice Golem. The Ice Golem is a brand new troop at Town Hall 11 that allows you to have a death freeze. This is actually going to determine whether or not, determining the sort of level of the freeze and also the level of the Ice Golem. So, with that being said, I would say that he's a really, really important one. And for the last two, the Witch and the Golem, those two are really never really seen all too much, so they're really not worth upgrading until later on. Unless you want to kind of throw them in around there, they are really not a very good unit to sort of upgrade first or in the middle. I would say if you're going to use them a lot, then upgrade them, but other than that, in my personal experience, don't upgrade them yet. Now, the last thing that we're going to be talking about is the Dark Elixir spells. I'm going to first start off with actually going ahead and upgrading your bat spells. Bats are really good right now at Town Hall 11. I would say P.E.K.K.A. Bobat and Dragbat are your two best examples of the bat spells being used. Now, not just that, but you can also even try out a Bat Slap, which is using the witches, of course. So if you like using witches, then upgrade them. But then with the bat spells included. So upgrade your bats. They are really, really strong. After that, I'm going to go Haste. Haste is a really strong spell right now, especially having it at level 5. That allows you just to use your loons and actually be able to use loons in your back-end Stone Slimer if you're using a P.E.K.K.A. Smash to haste up your loons through the base. That's something that's I want to kind of keep in mind with you guys, so just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing is going to be the Quad or the Earthquake. I usually like to say Quad Quake, but Earthquake's actually really interesting. Earthquake actually has, as you upgrade it, it has a radius increase. So at Town Hall 11, you can get it maxed, and it'll go up to a max radius increase of 4.7 tiles, which is a lot when you consider how much value you can get from a Quad Quake. So, since it can open 10 tiles, it's a really good spell to upgrade. Now, what about the Poison? The Poison is going to be next. It's not as important because still a non-max Poison can still do some work, but getting it maxed is going to be really, really important. So I would say getting that is going to be your next focus, and your last thing is going to be your Skelly spell. The main reason why is it's really level dependent because skeletons with shields are doing really good, and with the Sui Lalo, you really don't need to change all too much. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from this entire guide. But let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see a Town Hall 12 one, maybe a Town Hall 13 while I'm here at Town Hall 13. So other than that, that's going to really do it for the video. So if you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe/follow me on Twitch. And also feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I'm covering in the description below. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.